let's go.
Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I was inspired to do some birthday cards. I really love this suite. It's called Wildflower Birthday. It comes with a beautiful set of DSP. This stamp set, or rather a bundle that's birthday celebration, some ribbon, some dies. It has some wonderful numbers for using for birthdays, and then just some really cool inspiration here. So I pulled that out, and that will be this set right here. But then I kind of liked these ephemerals right here. You saw me use these Celebrate Love ephemerals. Well, then they have another one called Birthday Treats, and that is this pack here that just has some wonderful, just some nice images and pieces that you can put together. And I also pulled in some of the pieces that come with this DSP, that there's a whole sheet here that you can also pull a bunch of other pieces that kind of pop out. So I have that. So there's just lots of components. There's pieces and parts that you can kind of pull together in this new mini catalog that really kind of lend themselves. And I think I just passed one up here too. I love this happy birthday stamp set. But there is an online exclusive that's a little bit of a hidden keeper. It's called Cake Celebrations. And if you were to stamp this, you would get this lovely image here. And I just kind of did this as something I'm going to keep because I love the colors. I used polished pink, pretty in pink, and wild wheat here. And then I just used some, I think, early espresso for the celebrate. So I just kind of wanted to show how the stamps worked out. But then, as always, I'm going to have my little muffin tin, and I pulled in some of the different shapes, as well as you know, I kind of like to go back into my stash and pull in things that I may have from a old catalog. And this here is Balloon Celebrations, because they've got some wonderful different kind of stamps as well as some dies. So I pulled that in, and I just made, I kind of just sit down and I just kind of make some shapes. Some of the shapes, this is a little tassel, comes from one of the newer sets, and then some of these shapes are just iconic shapes from this other piece. So I kind of pulled those into my muffin tin. I made those shapes. I made some star shapes, and I'm using the colors from this DSP, which are Pretty in Pink, Seafoam, Pool Party, and of course gold. But then since I had some glitter papers from doing the Valentine's, I pulled those in. These are just the flowers that come with Cake Celebration. And here's just some cake stands that I did. And then I was also kind of looking at some of the other stamp sets that I just thought were kind of whimsical, because I really like this stamp set here, One More Year. And I just went ahead and stamped out some images that kind of, here's the wine, and then I just love my little pug. So I have my little pug there. This one I used some black embossing powder to kind of create some really strong lines, and this was just plain with black Memento ink, and then I used my stamping blends to kind of color them in. So again, I kind of go through and I kind of look for ideas in order to come up with my creation. So I'm just kind of pulling in all the products that I use for inspiration. And this set here. So what I started with was I kind of came up with this card, and this is 6 by 6, And it's just kind of a simple easel card, and it kind of pops back here, and you kind of come up with that. Now, this was very easy to make because I'm using this stamp right here as well as kind of the pieces and parts that come with the DSP for the Wildflower birthday. So I stamped this on Melon Mambo with gold, and then I just simply created an easel card, and then this is one of the images that came from the Wildflower birthday DSP. I just added a couple of strips of gold foil and then some flowers, just pop them up on dimensionals. And then in the back, I just created just this little flap here. And again, this is part of one of the pieces that you can get. And you can just see they just kind of have lots of different shapes. So I added that, and then I just cut out one of the stars. I believe the stars came with the cake dies. And then this is going to be my image. So this basically kind of makes our card stand. So if you look at it sideways, it's going to kind of look like that. And then you can kind of stand it up and it would look like that. So this is a 6x6 piece, and I'll have the dimensions for this. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a card using the cake celebrations because this has some lovely dies. Now this one I just stamped on Pretty in Pink, and then Polished Pink was what I stamped the kind of the layers in between that layer cake. And then I used some white glimmer paper to kind of create that icing, and then I cut out the little candles and some flowers, and then I cut out the cake stand using just some of the either gold foil or some iridescent. Here's another example. Same thing, only I kind of use the white glimmer for the icing and then the white glimmer for kind of in between layer, and then I just use the iridescent silver here for my cake stand. And then I used these wonderful adhesive back sequins that come with celebrations because they work perfectly. And I just fussy cut this. I just fussy cut the flowers. There are dies, but sometimes for me it's just faster. So I kind of wanted to come up with a project that I could use this style card, but I wanted to kind of do a two-tier cake. So that would mean that I would have to have a taller card. So I came up with this style here. Now this card will measure 5 by 6. It's 5 by 6, but you will need a piece of cardstock 12 by 12 in order to make this card. You'll need a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock because when you pull this out, this thing is 12 inches long, and then you'll fold it up. I did use the dies from the birthday celebration set. I used the little pocket die and the stars, and then the DSP is from the Wildflower birthday. And then I just added a little wobble just for fun, and then I just cut out stars as kind of my embellishment. When you turned around on the back, again, I just use that lovely DSP, and then I have a little kind of a little flap here, and if you open it up, that's where you put your message. So when you stand it up, you're going to stand it up like this, and then this back part is going to kind of act as your stand, and then your card will look nicely like that on a table, mantle, or on top of a desk. And you can write more stuff in here if you'd like, but you have plenty of room back here. So this is the project that I'm going to be putting together. I'm going to put together one using, again, I'm going to use all the products from the wonderful Wildflower Birthday, and it's got some, here's the papers that it features. I'm going to be using these papers here. I'm also going to be using some gold foil as a base. You could use cardstock. And then instead of a wobble, I think I'm just going to put it flat on there. But I picked several colors of pink. And one, as I said, I kind of used, polished pink and Melon Mambo to kind of bring out a nice strong tiered cake with I've got the little birthday candles, and then I kind of embellished it with some flowers. So that is going to be the inspiration for the card. So pull in your birthday celebrations and the dies, as well as the cake celebrations and the dies. If you want to bring in any of the other pieces, if you have the DSP, you'll have those other pieces and parts. But they also have the birthday treats ephemeral pack, and then I pulled in also just for fun. I just was kind of exploring my beautiful balloons and the other sentiment that you can pull in the happy birthday to create these cards. So I'll have dimensions for this one, but this is the one I'm going to feature for our tutorial today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Begin with a piece of 12 by 12 basic white cardstock and cut that to 5 by 12. That is going to be your easel card, and then your back of the card is going to be 5 by 6. I'm also going to grab in my other pieces, the gold foil and my DSP. The gold foil I'm going to cut is going to be 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. And that is going to fit the back panel. For the front panel, you will need 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. I'm also going to bring in a piece of DSP, and this is going to coordinate with my design, and that is going to be cut at 5 1/2 by 4 1/2 for the back panel, and then 2 1/2 by 4 1/2 for that front panel. And you have to make sure that if your DSP is directional, that you do pay attention to that when you cut it for your front pieces. Now for the back panel, I'm going to use this other pattern, and that is going to be cut at 5 1/2 by 2, and you're going to need 2 pieces. I'm scoring my panel here at 3 6, and this is my back panel along the 5-inch side. I am scoring that at 2 1/2. And those will create our base cards for this project. I'm assembling the layers for the DSP and the gold foil for the front of the card, and I'm also going to pull in that back piece for the back of the card, and I've only chosen to layer one side with the gold foil. The other side I'm just simply going to put the DSP, and you can kind of play with that. I did another card where I had the gold panels for both sides of the back of the card, and I thought it looked nice, but just be advised that it does add a lot of extra bulk to your card. Using the mini die cut machine right on your desk is just really a convenient option. I'm just going to cut all my pieces and parts and form the front of my card, and I'm just selecting just different materials that I have at the ready. so that I can have some options when I choose to assemble the front of my card. I am using Melon Mambo as my accent color. It's going to be used for the cake as well as a couple of the stars for the embellishments. I'm pulling in the dies that cut the little layers for the cake, and I'm going to use kind of a cream colored glimmer paper so it kind of looks like buttercream frosting, and then I'm going to use regular white glimmer paper for my icing. For my cake stand, I'm using a piece of gold foil, but it's more of a brushed gold foil, and it's not as shiny as the background layer pieces that I used. And now I'm just simply going to assemble all my pieces and parts using some fine tip glue to apply the pieces to the Melon Mambo cake bases. So much of this video is about sharing my creative process. Now I'm just going to my muffin tin because in advance I stamped and I cut out several other pieces that are part of the set, so I can just kind of deciding how I want to embellish my cake. And I'm using Mossy Meadow for my leaves, and I believe I'm using polished pink for the flowers. I've stamped the candles in Pool Party with some Daffodil Delight for the flames. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp some other flowers as well, just to make sure that I have what I need to kind of begin to select what I want to embellish my cake. Even though there are dies for cutting out the various pieces, for me, I just get a lot of enjoyment on just doing the fussy cutting. So I'm going to cut this pennant out of Pool Party, and that's going to align nicely with where the cake is, and I'm going to use my gold and silver embossing powder to create not only the sentiment Make a Wish, but also it just has some nice little sparkles there that I want to add to that background as well. For the inside of my card on the back where I've stamped the sentiment, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the 2-layer cake using Pretty in Pink as a base, Polished Pink as the next layer. I'm using Pool Party for the candles, Daffodil Delight, and then of course I'm using Melon Mambo for those flowers, and Mossy Meadow for the leaves. As an added bonus to this tutorial, I wanted to show you another version of the card using another pattern from the Wildflower Birthday 12x12 DSP. Here I'm layering it with bubble bath instead of a gold foil, and I'm also going to pull in Petal Pink and Blueberry Bushel. My cake layers are cut out of Bubble Bath and Petal Pink. I'm also using that white glimmer paper for my icing. I'm also going to cut out some stars using cardstock and Blueberry Bushel. With the gold foil stars that I cut out for my embellishments, I also added a little piece of gold foil to kind of add a little bit more interest with my iridescent cardstock cake stand. I'm pulling in a strong accent color here with Blueberry Bushel, and I'm also going to stamp my sentiment using gold embossing powder. I'm pulling in flowers I've already stamped in Melon Mambo with Mossy Meadow leaves. I'm using that Blueberry Bushel cardstock and the gold foil just to kind of add some contrast with the shiny gold and the matte cardstock. And you'll notice how I kind of put the large stars kind of at a diagonal, and then I kind of use the smaller stars as an accent to kind of balance the arrangement. Now, after I stamp the sentiment on the inside of the back of the card with these really lovely sentiments, I'm going to pull in an ephemeral piece from that ephemeral pack just to show that it is so easy to put these cards together when you just have these extra accent pieces. Okay, so there you have it. Here is the card that I just showed you using the DSP from that wonderful Wildflower Birthday, and then our birthday cake. Then we turn it around and I've stamped a cake, happy birthday, the flags, and this is all part of the cake celebration and the birthday celebration set. And then you open it up and I have those wonderful little stars there that just kind of add a little bit extra embellishment. I also did another version, and this one I'm using Pretty in Pink and Blueberry Bushel with some of the DSP and kind of embellishing it with gold foil and some of the Blueberry Bushel stars as a paper, cardstock, and then kind of using my white glimmer paper as kind of my icing. And I have a nice iridescent cake stand. And then when you turn this one around, you have happy birthday, and then this is one of the pieces from the ephemeral pack that I just wanted to put in there just to show you how you can just kind of mix and match all these products, and they just kind of really make your job a lot easier. And I just think that's just a wonderful card there, and it just kind of sets up wonderfully. And that's using the cake celebration dies and the birthday celebrations stamp set. And I did not choose to put a wobble on it, but the wobble is just extra fun. Well, if you haven't already, please hit like. All products are available on my online store. There will be a link below. Go to my blog for any of the details. If you're looking for a demo, please consider joining my team. Consider joining as a hobbyist. There's a special offer during celebrations until the end of February, where you can also get some free products as well as enjoy a 20% discount. If you are a demo and like my content, please support my channel by hitting like, share, and leave a comment. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. Happy stamping.